Hey team, happy Tuesday. I'm excited to be back on talking to you guys live. Really nice here in Arizona. It's about 8:30, 8:40, 13 degrees already. Heading to the gym after the live, but today we're talking about plateaus and let's unpack today's session. Before I get going, though, I do want to say that the information is generalized. Your coach, if you're in the Ignite program for sure, your coach is going to have a better insight to your situation. So I would encourage you to talk with your coach about what I'm going to present. Again, they know you best. Um, so we're going to go through all the steps. And probably what you're really looking for is at the very end of the video. So everyone thinks it's calories. Not always calories, ladies. So let's jump in. The first thing, and this is really my own methodology, the first thing I check for is to confirm you're indeed in a plateau. So that might sound weird, but often people come to the table panicked sometimes that they've hit a plateau. But I'll ask a few questions. First of all, did your weight change or did your girth change, your waist and hips in particular? So people will come to the table panicked that the weight hasn't changed, and I won't even open the discussion unless they have girth. And I spoke about this last week, actually, the difference between fat loss and weight loss. Although I really didn't like the graphics, I might redo it because I wanted to share some visuals, but I didn't do it very well. And again, I might redo that. In any event, I won't even open the discussion about a plateau unless I know what's happening with your girth. Your girth speaks to fat loss. I've trained many ladies whose weight barely changed, but they're a dress size smaller. And I also noticed, like, sometimes if any one of those things changed, you're not in a plateau. Like, I've noticed patterns with some people, their hips will change one week, then their waist, hips, waist, hip, back and forth. So, unless all three things stuck, and uh, and it needs to happen in 2 weeks. It's very common, particularly as your journey moves on. It's very common to have 1 week with no change. I don't panic. Keep my eye on the ball and might walk through the rest of the things to make sure we're covering everything, but I won't panic with 1 week of a stick, I'll call it. That's normal. 2 weeks, though, if nothing's changed, weight, waist, or hips have not changed in 2 weeks, then we need to look at our plan and what we're doing. So the first thing I will evaluate is compliance. Okay. And Paul has posted a couple of really good videos about being consistent, getting the work done, not making up excuses, doing your best. Like, say you're a little under the weather, you do a little bit of your workout, not the whole thing, or you reduce your weights, but you still move, or you go for a walk, whatever. Look up her videos, they're really good. The other thing I'll share with you is what I've noticed empirically in my own practice is that people feel like they're like 100% on, and it's actually a little less than that. And I get that because fat loss is not fair. like, sadly, your body doesn't really care how hard you're working, right? And so, what I found is, particularly in the nutrition front, people need to be about 80% compliant with their nutrition. And they honestly feel like they're 80 or above, but when we look close, sometimes they're closer to 70, 75. So this is what you can do if you want to, like, have a little scorecard. So create a little grid for the last 2 weeks. Say you've established a plateau. It's been 2 weeks. So if you're logging, you can look back, create a little grid of all your meals for those 14 days. So say you eat 4 meals a day, you've got 14 days, that's 56 total meals. And then give yourself a little check mark, yes, if you were compliant to your macros and you ate anti-inflammatory food, like you ate whole foods, you ate really well, check off all that you did, and then take your check marks divided by your total. So say I had 40 check marks, 40 meals in the 2 weeks were on point. No French fries, no processed foods. 40 out of 56 gives me a score of 71, which is a little over 3 meals a day that are on point. I had protein at every meal. You know all the rules. So where you think, you know, you more than most of your meals are on point, it still scored me at 71. So again, I've found that people need to score at about 80% to get those awesome results they're looking for. Okay, so let's say we established, yes, you're in a plateau, you are compliant with your nutrition. Then the next thing I would evaluate or look at is inflammation. So inflammation will stop the body from burning fat. It just can't burn fat in that environment. And there are a number of things to look at in terms of inflammation. Recovery, particularly your post-workout meal. Are you recovering properly? Are you getting enough sleep? We need to get 7.5 hours sleep minimal. It can affect your hormone profile and for sure will inflame you. Are you eating inflammatory foods? Are you hydrated? If you're not drinking enough water, that can inflame you. I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I didn't. I sleep, stress. That's the one. So if you're very stressed and you're not practicing any mitigating strategies to balance that stress, that's really inflammatory. Sometimes your gut health. I do have a survey. If you're suffering with sore joints, bloating, gas, headaches, you could be eating foods that are healthy and good, but you're intolerant to, causing your gut to be or causing the gut microbiome to be out of balance. It can cause other issues like gut permeability. That will cause inflammation. In fact, a lot of clients I've worked with, we fix the gut and that's fixed a lot of their issues. So we've established we're in a plateau. We are compliant to food. We don't feel like we're inflamed. We're feeling good. We got lots of energy. Joints aren't sore. We're all good. What's going on? Then I will look at your workout. Okay. The body will adapt quite quickly actually to what you're doing. So say you're starting out, you're all happy. I remember my first deadlift at 95. I remember that moment like, I also remember having 15 pounds and doing a shoulder press. Like it was like so empowering. But now if I do a shoulder press, I can do 25 strict for 10. So you need to keep pushing the body. It will adapt. And the way to figure out if you're working hard enough, your last 2 or 3 reps should be challenging. You should be able to do them with good form. You might get stuck. Like say you get stuck up here on your last rep, that's perfectly fine. Failure in the gym is a win for sure, but you need to push the body to make it change. Okay, so if all that's happening, the next thing I'll do is the calories, and that's probably what you guys were all waiting for because everyone comes to the table that my calories are wrong. Not always, because of everything we talked about before. Anyhow, and here's the thing with calories. Like, I'm sure the other trainers would agree. It's tricky for us because we do need to put you in a deficit to lose fat, but we want to balance that with not damaging your metabolism. So when we lower calories, your metabolism is going to slow. So we don't want to do that. We want to feed you as much as we can and still get the results that you're looking for. So that's when I turned to a protocol established with the Matador study. It's very cool. They found that fat loss was accelerated and it didn't affect people's metabolism as much as that slow like consistent calorie deficit. So what I'll do is drop your calories for 2 weeks by quite a bit, like quite low, very aggressive deficit for 2 weeks, and then go back to maintenance for 2 weeks. And I'll do that for maybe 4 weeks to really kickstart things. But I'm always like, that's the last lever that I'll pull. Yeah, just look at my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything. I think I'm good. But again, I just want to say, like, this is very general. Everyone is different. There's not one size fits all. You know, if you feel you're in a plateau, talk to your coach. and post any questions. Tag me so I don't miss them. I hope you guys have a great week. I love talking to you as always, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.